Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and to my very first video on a series I'm going to do on Kundalini and Kundalini awakening. So I would like to introduce you to the concept of Kundalini. It's something that most people have heard of, but it remains fairly unknown to most people. So let me just introduce you to the basics of what Kundalini is. The full name is actually Kundalini Shakti, and it comes from Sanskrit. And Kunda means coiled, so it actually refers to a serpent that is coiled 3.5 times just at the base of the spine. And some people actually say that at least in men, it would be located somewhere in the vicinity of the prostate gland. We don't know exactly where the Kundalini is located energetically. There is some variation, some difference of opinion, depending on which source you're going to check for this. But we know that it's somewhere around the base of the spine. And so this isn't a physical energy. It's part of the astral or subtle physical body. So it wouldn't be visible to ordinary senses or scientific instruments. It's just outside the spectrum of physical substance and physical light that we can normally see. But people who have enhanced senses and they can see beyond our ordinary reality, they can actually see it. So this Kundalini is normally in a dormant state, just coiled around itself at the base of the spine. And then in some instances, it can actually start rising and it can activate sometimes just for short periods. So this is something that people can actually notice in their own lives. So I'm going to talk about different instances when this energy can actually rise, what is needed for that, and what you should actually look out for. So the first thing you're going to notice when your Kundalini activates is going to be heat and pressure at the base of your spine. Some people would even say it's a sensation in the anus itself, which is a very weird feeling that quite a few people comment on. And it's understandable because we are talking about the very base of the spine. It's actually where the sensation starts. It's called the perineum. So it's just at the very bottom part of the base of the spine, and you definitely feel this heat and energy building up, which usually happens during meditation. So if you meditate in a certain way, if you do breath work, energy work on yourself, then after a while you might start noticing these pretty peculiar effects. So you might get this energy which rises up your spine and starts going up one by one. And so in order to understand what this might actually mean, what kind of sensations you might feel. I will have to introduce you to the chakras in general and just talk about those a little bit. So the first question is, what are the chakras actually? Is this something that you can compare to any kind of phenomenon that we can witness in the physical world? Are they completely energetic in nature? Is there some sort of physical manifestation that we can notice? So those are very good questions. And in terms of science, as far as I'm aware, we haven't been able to find anything in particular yet that would indicate the existence of chakras. But we are making progress because we now know that there is an entire invisible spectrum of light, matter, and energy that we can't see. And this is called dark matter and dark energy. And this is actually most of what makes up the universe. And according to the latest scientific discoveries, this is actually made up of coherent and liquid light, so photons basically. And these photons, they form into a liquid state, you could say. And one of the interesting characteristics of this dark energy, dark matter, liquid light is that once you start spinning this liquid light, say if you put your finger into this and you started spinning it around, it would never stop. So it would go on forever. So in this respect, it behaves like a superconductor, you could say, which also has a similar characteristic. So I believe, based on my own experiences and what we know about science so far, is that chakras are actually spinning vortices that are spinning in this liquid light, this sort of medium where once spinning starts, it never stops. So that's really what's happening there. And we don't know that much about this so far, but I'm sure that within the next century, we're probably going to find out a lot more about what chakras really are and what kind of energy they carry. And so we'll probably be a lot wiser in the sense that we'll just know what we can expect by working on our chakras and doing energy work on ourselves. So next up, I'm going to discuss the chakras in a bit more detail. So first off, I would like to talk about the alignment of the major chakras. There are believed to be 6 or 7 major chakras, depending on how you count them, according to most yogic texts. And so the major ones, they start from the base of the spine and they go up all the way to the brainstem. And so they're located along the spine. And the interesting thing is that the base chakra, it faces downwards. So it acts as a sort of vortex that sucks in energy from the ground, from the earth. And then this energy goes up the spine. And the 5 chakras in the middle, they are actually aligned vertically. So for instance, if you look at the heart chakra, which is in the center and one of the major ones that regulate the nervous system and the body. So if you look at the heart chakra, it seems to be a vortex that's wider towards the front of the body, and it narrows towards the spine as you go towards the back. And so it seems to channel energy from this reality into a parallel one. So all of these chakras, they basically act like energetic and dimensional gateways. So they open up to other realities, and they all have a different function. So the heart chakra is actually very important. It's the central command center of the body's energetic system. And if you go towards the top, then you will find that the crown chakra actually opens up towards the sky, towards the heavens, you could say. And so it's actually upward facing. So the middle 5 chakras, they are vertical. And then you'll find that the top and bottom chakras, they are downward and upward facing. So that's an important thing to note. And so when I say that the main chakras, they are aligned vertically, I mean that in relation to each other. So they are in a straight line like this. And in terms of how they align when they are sucking in energy, we could say, then the bottom and top chakras, they are actually vertical like this. So they point upward and downward. So that's an important thing to note. Whilst on the other hand, the middle 5 chakras, they are aligned like this. So in terms of how they suck in energy and push it out on the other side, they would be horizontal in that case. So that's what you need to know about the chakras in general. And I know that most people don't believe in them, or they think it's fanciful or far-fetched, but once you start meditating and doing breath work, energy work, and so forth, then for sure you're going to feel some of your chakras spinning. So it's a very distinct sensation within the body. You can definitely feel the vortex within you. So it becomes quite obvious that there is some sort of movement which can be described as fluidic. So some sort of fluidic medium in which this spinning movement takes place. And so you realize that your entire body is actually enveloped in this energy field and fluidic medium. So the next question is, how does this actually relate to Kundalini? What is the connection between Kundalini and the chakras? And that's an important question to explore. So when you start activating Kundalini, whether by design or whether it happens naturally just on its own, it's very important that the rising of Kundalini has to go through each chakra one by one, starting from the bottom. It's also important that the energy rises in the central channel because there are actually 3 energy channels parallel to each other in which Kundalini can rise. And so the central one is supposed to be the spinal column. And this is called Sushumna in Sanskrit. And there are 2 side channels known as Ida and Pingala. And these actually correspond to the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. So there is a physical level which is rooted in the nervous system that actually serves as the basis for Kundalini. So it's very important that the energy starts rising up in the central channel. And in order for this to happen, person has to be balanced in many different ways, but the most important one is balance between male and female, solar and lunar. Because if you are skewed in a different direction, so if you are not fully balanced, then the energy can rise up in one of the side channels, and that can cause many debilitating symptoms, to be honest. So it's something that everybody should avoid. Of course, it should be balanced in general, but it's very important if you ever want to get into Kundalini, or if you feel that this energy is rising in you, that you have to keep a balance between these opposing principles, which is very important. So I'm going to wrap it up soon. I just wanted to give you a primer on Kundalini and the chakras and the energetic pathways within the body, and what we actually know about this topic from a semi-scientific viewpoint. In the next video, I'm going to go into more detail on how this actually works, what the Kundalini energy does as it goes from one chakra to the next, and what actually happens there. So stay tuned, and please subscribe if you're interested in this topic, because I'm going to post regular videos on this topic and other spiritual and related topics as well. So thank you very much for listening and watching this video. See you in the next video.